Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. There's some plants that you just don't want to plant on your property. Right now, I've got a burn pile going, and I went in and asked my hot mama, hey, do you mind if I go cut down that hawthorn tree? Nope, was an immediate reply, please do. This thing has been a pain, literally, for years. There's other plants that you should cut down too. So if you're not familiar with this tree, here's these thorns. They're long and stiff and dangerous, and man, they hurt. And I know a lot of you will say, oh, but the tree is so beautiful in the spring. I promise you there's other plants that you can get in your area that are just as beautiful, that will not require a blood transfusion when you use them. So don't put the hawthorn anywhere near, especially if you're going to have kids, or for that matter, any other plant that's got some really big, thick thorns. Goodbye, evil tree. Here's plant number 2 that you shouldn't be planting on your property. Ivy. I don't know if most of you know this, but it's technically illegal to plant ivy in the state of Washington now because it's an invasive species. We planted this because it was such a beautiful ground cover and covered some other stuff, which that it is, but then it takes off. Here is the area we wanted the ground covered, but then it started growing up the side of our pump house. You can't see it now, but it used to grow up all the way inside and somehow got inside the pump house. It grew all the way along the edges. We didn't plant it out in the woods, but then it got out here in the woods and is now climbing every tree around here. So it is very hard to spray to kill. You don't want to be spraying a ton of chemicals. So this section of the woods has been taken over by ivy because we planted a little bit of ground cover over there. I'm about to turn in my burn pile of the 2 hawthorn trees. That's all that's left of them. Hallelujah. Oh, and look, more ivy growing up on the tree up behind me there. Anyway, another plant that you don't want to have on your property is bamboo. Don't plant it there. Bamboo in general, specifically golden bamboo. I know that it was brought here from China and used as a visual barrier and privacy screen, but it can spread quickly and fast, and it's overtaken many states and caused a lot of problems, and it does not help the natural habitat or wildlife much. So don't be planting bamboo. Another one that won't be on anybody else's list, but I'm going to put it on my list, and that's a walnut tree. And I say that as I plan to and hope to plant a walnut tree on my property. But when I say you don't want to put a walnut tree on there, I'm talking about in and near your yard or your house. I remember playing with friends growing up that had walnut trees all around their yard, and we would be playing in the yard, and stepping on those rotting walnut husks was worse than stepping in dog poo. And it can create such a mess, and there's pigments and whatnot. And I know that there's a lot of great value in the walnuts itself and even some of the husk material. But just keep it out of where kids are going to be playing, people are going to be walking. As I said, I'm going to plant some on my property here, but probably plant it a little further away from the yard itself. And so I can go and collect the walnuts and all the materials I want, but it's not going to be falling down and creating a huge mess around my place. If you got any value today, please hit the like button. It does help us out on the algorithm. Thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching including horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects are my passion.